Thank you. Thank you very much. Let us conclude. And before I start, I'll acknowledge our traditional leaders. When I opened my remarks, I didn't mention them. We're happy. Thank you very much for taking time to join us. And just to fill in with Professor Nana with regards to the Zongo and deprived urban communities, that's what we call it, not inner cities, Zongo and deprived urban communities. There's establishment of a microfinance fund for Zongos and deprived urban communities, and it's called the Soyeya Fund. The fund will be accessible to all people who live within Zongos and deprived urban communities, and it will not discriminate. In addition, I'll just mention a few things to do with sports, or as the sports fraternity will not forgive us. We'll establish a sports development fund, and we'll develop a comprehensive national sports policy to outline the vision and strategies for sports development in Ghana. We'll revive and invest in inter-school and colleges games in order to develop talent. For companies that invest in sports, we will facilitate tax exemption and tax relief regimes to motivate private sponsorship and promotion of sports. We'll promote and provide funding for the lesser-known indigenous sports. We'll ensure the successful hosting and organization of the 13th Africa Games to be hosted in Ghana in September 2023. We will continue and complete the new Edubiase Sports Stadium, and we'll establish sports stadia and other recreational facilities in communities and in all the districts. Now, this is an interesting one. We'll use the Sports Development Fund to assist the sports associations to provide and improve remuneration and welfare of local sportsmen and women. This fund will also be utilized to assist teams that qualify for continental competitions. This fund will assist them to be able to go and participate in the competition. And the final part, we'll vigorously reform and expand access to professional legal education. Honorable minority leader spoke about that. We'll provide opportunities for all qualified LLB holders by granting accreditation to certified law faculties to undertake the professional law qualification course. He spoke about that. We'll establish high courts in the 6 newly created regions, and we will decentralize the services of the appeals court by providing facilities for the appeals courts in the Western, Northern, and Volta regions. We will pay assemblymen, members. Thank you. We will pay assembly members and give them responsibility for the collection of births and deaths statistics in their electoral areas. We'll ensure the depoliticization of the civil and local government services. We'll upgrade the whole Kaswa, Ashaman, Techiman, Koforidua, Sunyani, Bogatanga, Hohoi, and Wa municipal assemblies into metropolitan assemblies. We'll establish accounts for the disability fund in every district, and so the percentage meant for the disability fund will be paid into a special account. 50% will go to paying a stipend to recognize persons living with disability in the district, and the other 50% will be used to invest in projects that will benefit the persons living with disability. Security will implement the report of the inquiry into the Ayawaso West Wagon vigilante incident. We will empower the 48th Engineers Regiment to construct living accommodation for security personnel, to establish new military presence and installations across the country, especially in the new regions that do not have a military installation. We'll establish a new military training and recruiting academy for the northern sector of the country. We'll establish a police station, a district police station in every district where there is none. We'll review and enforce medical packages for both serving and retired personnel and their families. We'll review the compensation package for personnel who lose their lives or get injured in the line of duty. We'll clear the backlog of promotions and ensure timely promotion based on merit and transparency. We will depoliticize the Ghana Armed Forces and restore discipline and loyalty to the state. We will encourage and expand opportunities for non-commissioned officers, that's other ranks, to access officer cadet training where appropriate. We will construct housing units and residential accommodation for the Ghana Armed Forces, refurbish dilapidated and abandoned housing units across the country, systematically review upward salaries and allowances of troops and their civilian employees, upgrade retirement benefits for personnel, establish armed forces home ownership schemes for armed forces personnel, complete and equip the Kumasi Military Hospital at Afari. Other things, I'll jump some of them. Establish armed forces agribusiness and processing units, revamp the defense industry to produce clothing, boots, and accessories for the Ghana Armed Forces and other security services. We'll expand and equip the Field Engineers Corps to undertake national emergency projects, including road construction, and be licensed to undertake commercial ventures of the Ghana government. We'll roll out transparent and accessible police education and scholarship scheme. We'll increase officer and residential accommodation for personnel of the Ghana Police Service. We'll complete the police hospital project. We'll construct a second police hospital in the northern part of the country. Complete the construction of the DOFSU headquarters, and I'm sure this is one that the police officers are waiting for. Use a yearly internal recruitment approach to grant amnesty to police personnel who privately acquired additional qualifications from recognized tertiary institutions, such that some of them can become officers each year through an accelerated promotion regime. We will maintain the Cap 30 pension scheme for police service personnel. We will implement the Ghana Prisons Decongestion Project. We will modernize the prison system and make it more humane. We will provide facilities to separate remand prisoners from convicted prisoners. We will set up a special remand sentence review committee to review cases of persons accused of light offenses. Encourage community service and other non-custodial sentences for minor offenders. Create well-equipped technical and vocational departments in all prisons. Ensure proper healthcare facilities in the prisons. Ensure safety and security of Ghanaians by reconstituting the joint military police anti-armed robbery patrols. We'll restore the visibility police. And so at every intersection, we'll have police in order to keep crime under control. We'll conduct investigations into the assassination of Ahmed Swali and other unsolved cases. Including the murder of the late Honorable J.B. Dankwa. We'll change the current climate of fear, intimidation, and harassment of the media. We'll continue the process towards passing the broadcasting bill. We'll develop a media development fund to support professional training of journalists and media organizations as part of COVID-19 relief package. The NDC will address the canker of nepotism and growing corruption. We'll restore the integrity and strengthen independent anti-corruption institutions, and they'll be at the forefront of our fight against corruption. We'll strengthen the anti-corruption institutions like TRAJ, IOCO, the Financial Intelligence Center, the Office of Special Prosecutor, and empower them to investigate all cases of corruption swept under the carpet by this administration. They will also be empowered and free to investigate any incidents of corruption under the next NDC administration. We'll introduce legislation to regulate agency representation and the conduct of business practices of multinational companies. This means that if a multinational company wants to do business in Ghana, it's not a crime to have an agent, but they will be compelled to disclose who their agents are for transparency, for purposes of transparency. Update the guidelines for political office holders developed and launched during my administration. The presidency shall not act as a clearinghouse for corrupt appointees. Launch Operation Sting as a major anti-corruption crusade. Be relentless in efforts against corrupt political appointees and public sector workers. Amend the law to enable publication and audit of assets declaration forms by political and public office holders. Codify the conflict of interest situations. Make single source procurements or sole sourcing an exception and not the rule. Create a fairer emolument system and remove the distortions between Article 71 office holders and other public sector employees. Reduce drastically the current size of ministers and their deputies. Reduce the number of political appointees at the presidency and other institutions. Reduce the number of ministries in order to save cost. Continue and complete the constitutional review process. Depoliticize the civil and public services. Roll out an aggressive social housing plan to deliver a minimum of 20,000 low-income houses in all districts of Ghana. MMDAs will work with traditional authorities to acquire lands for the project. All materials for the housing will be sourced locally and will implement a national mortgage assistance scheme for security services and other public sector employees. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the National Manifesto Committee for the diligent work that they did. It has taken them many sleepless nights to be able to complete this work. I believe that this is a manifesto that holds the key to the destiny of Ghana. It is possible, it is implementable, and I know that with the support of my running mate, Professor Nana Jenopoko Ajimai, the executives of our party and our government to be come January 7th, 2021, we will be able to implement this project, this manifesto. I know it's not going to be easy because we are looking at the numbers. We know we're going to inherit a very tattered economy. For those who pride themselves on economic management, I mean, they should really feel ashamed to hand over an economy like this to another administration. Highly distressed in terms of debt, budget and fiscal overruns, uncontrolled borrowing from the central bank now, and we understand the difficulties we're going to face. One of the first things we'll do is to achieve consensus on economic management. And so we will hold a second Senchi conference, for those of you who remember Senchi 1, which was boycotted by the NPP. I hope this time, even if they're in opposition, they will join us for Senchi 2, so that we achieve consensus on economic management and fiscal consolidation going forward. I want to thank our National Executive Committee for the emergency meeting this morning to approve the manifesto. At this juncture, I'll invite my running mate, Nana, to come up and join me as we launch the manifesto. You hold it like that. It is our honor and privilege to declare the 2020 Manifesto of the National Democratic Congress with the theme Jobs and Prosperity for All, the People's Manifesto, duly launched. We're also conscious of our persons living with disability, and so we did not only complete and launch the main manifesto, we also completed and we are launching today the Braille version of the NDC manifesto. Thank you very much, and God richly bless all of us.